What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed, and I am back today with a pretty exciting opportunity with you all. So I'm going to be talking about Jaguar Health and one of their products, Mytesi. So as I've mentioned before, I am a pharmacist, and that is, my day job, my 9 to 5, if you will. But on the side, I do enjoy making YouTube videos about specs, stocks that I'm very interested in. So I thought I'd kind of do a deep dive on Mytesi because, as you've all probably already seen, Jaguar Health has just been on a surge. It has been going nuts. But I think there's some reason for that, and there's some evidence backing that up. So again, I'm going to kind of talk about the product that's been kind of creating the surge of price with Jaguar Health and whether or not I think it's a good buy. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I doing this for medical advice. So please do your own research. And again, I'm just giving you my 2 cents on it. So Mytesi is a product that Jaguar wholly owns. It owns the subsidiary Napo Pharmaceuticals that has developed this product, Mytesi. It has FDA approval for symptomatic relief of non-infectious diarrhea in adults with HIV/AIDS on ART, or antiretroviral therapy. So from here on out, antiretroviral therapy, it's just long, so I'm going to call it ART. And again, that's what you're going to see it abbreviated as throughout my presentation. So again, just kind of looking at it, I did go on to FDA, Access FDA. One of a pharmacist's favorite tools is we look here to look at mechanism of action, pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, absorption, and that kind of thing. So again, crofelemer is the generic name, but I'm going to call it Mytesi because that is what it's known by. So again, I did fact check. The mechanism is very accurate. And so everything looked good there. So for Mytesi, I kind of wanted to look at, the stock aspect of things. So I looked at the global statistics of HIV patients, looking at hiv.gov. So currently in 2019, I guess now we're in 2021, I guess you can consider it 2 years ago, but really a year ago, about 25.4 million people with HIV were accessing antiretroviral therapy, or ART, globally. So that means 12.6 million people are still waiting, unfortunately, again, to receive ART. So there's still going to be this huge demand for ART, which it's in and of itself growing. But again, where does that put Mytesi and Jaguar Health stock in the long run? So as we've seen here, 25.4 million are currently receiving treatment as of 2019, and that number is probably only increased in 2020. Looking at Mytesi again, on their website here, they mention about 1 in 5 people are living with HIV suffer chronic diarrhea. So again, Mytesi was developed and it's been FDA approved solely for the purpose of this specifically. People who are on ART and experiencing chronic diarrhea. So the total addressable market for this drug is quite vast. Just going based off the number here, saying 1 in 5 and 25 million, that's 5 million people. Pretty respectable number. Again, 67% of people who have a diagnosis of HIV are currently taking ART. So that in and of itself is a number that has a lot of room for improvement, because hopefully we're going to get to the 100% marker at some point. In third world countries, it's probably not as accessible, of course, because these drugs, the cocktails for HIV medications, are very expensive. I say cocktails because they're usually a mix of multiple pharmaceutical ingredients, 2, 3 for the most part. So again, we looked at Mytesi there. So again, 1 in 5 people who suffer and have been diagnosed with HIV do experience this long-term diarrhea. Now, the big thing with, generally speaking, what I see at the pharmacy with diarrhea is anti-diarrheal medications. Loperamide, for example, or what you guys might know it as is Imodium over the counter. Oftentimes, these are things that you're going to use for the short term. So again, and this is for like more travelers' diarrhea, et cetera, et cetera. But what we see with these kinds of medications is that people use them, and you can only use them for so long before they start causing constipation and other side effects that we do not like. So additive side effects from antidiarrheals, or Lomotil, for example, which is an atropine with diphenoxylate. It has this opioid type formulation. So again, opioids are known, if you know anything about the opioid crisis. And if you don't, please look into it. The United States is suffering heavily from this. And it's something we're trying to combat in our community pharmacy each and every day. But regardless, if you look into this, these medications oftentimes cause constipation. So it really excites me that with the Mytesi data that I was looking at, the clinical studies that they kind of just overlooked, is the majority of people who take these medications do not experience constipation. So again, it said about 98% of the people that they had in their studies, their sample size wasn't the greatest, but it got FDA approval, so it was pretty significant. But 98% of people who were on Mytesi did not report any constipation. Guys, that is significant. Because what does this mean? Again, the hype that's been around Jaguar Health as a whole is that people think that this is going to be getting FDA approval at some point in the next year or so, maybe a little longer, for other types of diarrheal treatment. Because again, right now it's very specific, and it has a very specific group of people that they've been FDA approved for. But oftentimes what we see with FDA approval, just talking from the pharmacy perspective, is that a drug gets approved and the FDA allows the manufacturer to put a label on it. So we call that an on, or just a labeled indication. Now, oftentimes the FDA starts allowing, because there's, compelling evidence that this product can also help other things like chemo-induced diarrhea. So we've seen that some of the things that they're looking into right now is specifically in dogs. Mytesi is looking at expanding their indication or their labeling to allow to be used in also animals and dogs. So again, what's that mean for humans? It could mean that it's used as an antidiarrheal for chronic diarrhea and other subpopulations as well. So again, right now only for HIV patients that are on ART, but this can expand to people who have chronic diarrhea, idiopathic, IBS, Crohn's, who knows, the list goes on, because it seems like the side effect profile was pretty promising. Again, just looking at, I just kind of looked at the Access FDA, and I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in just looking into it. It's open to the public from the FDA. But again, going back, it just seemed like this really does have a lot of potential. And I was pretty excited after actually looking into it. Again, I'm no financial advisor by any means, but thinking that, again, it's a specialty drug. It is quite expensive. But again, I did look deeper into the studies. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do your own research. But I'm just looking at the overview, what they have on their website. The data seems very legit. So from a pharmacist perspective, I was like, wow, I see a lot of potential in this stock and this company as a whole. So I was looking at the cash price, went on GoodRx, again, a free website anyone can visit. So no plug or anything here, just to show you guys. But as you can see, for a 30-day supply, because it's a twice a day dosing medication, $2,297. That is pretty dang expensive at some of the big retail pharmacies that we see around. So again, that's pretty pricey. So if you're a person who has no insurance, obviously that's kind of ridiculous and out of sight. But if you have insurance, the copays would be what you consider a specialty medication. So it's going to be up there in the tiers, but some plans have the $10 copays, $50, et cetera, et cetera. So again, this medication, because right now it has, it's not off patent or anything, it's a new drug, it's going to have this expensive cost with it, but the potential is huge, guys. So again, looking at their, like I always do in my other videos, I kind of like to look at price of a stock or, of the thing I'm talking about. So again, it looks like it was running in the 68, 70 cent range, which, seems pretty normal. There was really no news around it. But then recently when they started talking about the thing that I want to mention is that in Europe, they're looking at long haul symptomatic COVID patients. So patients who have recovered from COVID and now have these long haul symptoms is what they're calling it. People are looking at, okay, Mytesi specifically is being looked at in Europe for use for those patients who have chronic diarrhea. Now, how many patients have tested positive for COVID in the world? 20 plus million. How many of them have experienced diarrhea? God knows how long. But again, the big thing is that there's some people who are experiencing these long haul symptoms. We don't know what's going to happen in 2021. Yes, there's a vaccine. Yes, there's all this good sentiment. But the fact that Jaguar Health and Mytesi has now kind of been on, it's now more public. People are more aware of the product. I think that people are going to look at it as there's a lot of rumors going around. So what do we always say with stocks is buy the rumor, sell the news. Always remember that, guys. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So right now the rumors are expanded FDA labeling, which is always a catalyst for any drug, especially one with a $189 million market cap. Guys, that is a baby company. So always remember, there is risk with all these plays, especially with pharmaceutical companies, but high reward. So let me know in the comment section below whether or not you bought into Jaguar Health. I think I'll be opening a position. I have not yet, depending on what happens in the pre-market, because I already seen the aftermarket of 25 cents at $2.03. But we could look at this in a year and say, man, remember that video that guy made, that one pharmacist? Well, that stock is now worth $50 a share, $30 a share. Who knows? So again, Please do your own research. Look into this one. Let me know if you guys enjoy me talking about pharmaceutical stocks, because again, it is my field. I actually really like looking into them, but I never make videos because they're all penny stocks, very speculative, very volatile. So that can always take away from my credibility. But again, let me know what you guys think. And as always, until next time, keep investing.